Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. This is the trade breakdown for Monday, August 10th. So let's get started. Okay. So, what we can see is before we come onto the charts, and this is 9 a.m. or 8:45 New York time, price came lower. All right. We have to see, okay, this fair value gap, as mentioned on the weekly outlook, has sent price lower. The thing here is, price hasn't had time to rebalance after this drop down. We haven't rebalanced up to go down. So that's one thing. But secondly, we have closed below Asia lows. And on top of that, when we look to the left here, right, if we look from this range to here, right, this leg here in itself, we are close to 50%. Now, the thing is, if we ran this 50%, what is the next 50%? Well, not 50%, but what is below the 50%? This. What I mean by that is, if we take 50% and use it as a reference point, this becomes the next 50%. So we're gouging and monitoring price heavily right here. Why? It's because this is the last line of defense. Now, on top of all that, this is a little bit hard to spot, is we do have an order block sitting here as well. So when you go down to the 5 minute, this is an important reference point. That whole 15 minute, the whole 15, sorry about that, 15 minute turns into the 5 minute right over here. Right, so now we mark that out, we move it forward, and we get rid of get rid of this. Right, so the other thing that's very obvious here, which is hard to spot, is this right here, this low. And why is that very important? Because if we go to 9:45, right, this low hasn't been taken. This low has been taken on NQ and it hasn't been taken on ES. Now that's a session SMT. All right, so now this ES. So now we go down. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me go back. All right, that being said, we have potential fair value gap here, but we don't really worry about that. Okay, so now 9 o'clock opens. Right, clock is about right here. And we are, what could we say this is here? Price is just not really moving anywhere. This is the accumulation. And then moving forward, we have, okay, 9:30 open. Okay, beautiful. All right, excellent. Okay, we take this high. Okay, cool. Nothing yet. Okay, so now the biggest thing here is we had a major drop here. So what we have to see is what happens when we take that drop, how price presents itself. Does price do two things? And this is the job of a SIBI, right? The SIBI's job is to do two things, is to rebalance price and potentially go down or run up and go above. So that's what we have to wait for. And this drop lower causes a lot of emotions in trade, meaning that people will just take shorts. But we have to see what the reaction is to the fair value gap. All right. So now we're monitoring gouging price. So potentially, if we close above here, that means the SIBI hasn't done its job. All right, all right, all right. Okay, perfect. So the other thing is to identify is how the bodies are closing above and the wicks are remaining below. So now we're just monitoring price heavily here. And what we're anticipating is for price, if it closes with a body below here, we can take sells. But for now, nothing. That's why you have to be extra patient. Excellent will drop lower. Guess where the bodies remain? We saw them lower again, but where does the body stay? Oh, look at that. The bodies just keep closing here. So now we have an internal manipulation. Right. Now with that, we have price reversing to the other side. Now we're looking for an entry criteria, right? So you could take this, but your stops would need to be below here. And that's quite big. So what do we wait for? We wait for manipulation. So we're gonna wait for internal manipulation and see what happens. Right now, there's nothing. Okay. All right, nothing yet. Nothing yet. Okay, nice. So this is the second thing. Okay, let me write that down. Okay, rebounds. Okay, so this is the thing. When price goes up just like that, it has to come down to rebalance, right? So we're gonna gouge and see what happens. There's a busy here, so we're gonna see what happens when we get there. Oh, look at that. We tap right into this busy right here. See that? And why is it that busy? Because that's the one in the discount of the range. So we tap into here. This was a sweep of all this internal manipulation occurred. You can enter here loans, stops below here, target your 1 to 1, and I'll be gouging this fair value gap here. So that'll be your 1 to 1. See how I have my stops right below here. And the reason for that is all this is balanced price ranges. This is the unfilled mitigated area. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys that entered here got chopped out and got scared. The only reason and what is happening here is prices coming to fill this last area that was open. See how the bodies close and just run up from here. There we go. Excellent. There we are. Perfect. And that was it. One and done. So we come back to 50%, tap into here, wait, 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 and that way. So these two things are very important because if you just enter here, you will have to have wider stops. So that was the breakdown, and we could respectively say accumulation. This drop lower was the manipulation, right? And then the distribution happened right over. And that was the breakdown. Hopefully this made sense, and hopefully today you guys do well. Just be patient, and we'll hopefully do better today. Take care for now, and I'll see you again.